Hi, we're Laura and Dan. We've bought a beautiful rustic Portuguese barn and have literally zero knowledge of building and farming, but plan on converting it into a beautiful off-grid homestead. Follow us on our journey. The outdoor kitchen project is so close to being finished, and this week it was time to add the final touches and complete it. The next task was to plan out and measure the countertop. We spent a lot of extra time making sure the measurements were correct on this one, as there was a lot of different components and things that could go wrong. So we're just heading down the bottom of the land. What we need to get is the sink and the stove top for the outdoor kitchen. We're going to bring them up because we need to measure how big they are so we can work out where the frame needs to be for the countertop for the outdoor kitchen. I love walking down this middle terrace of the land and checking the fruit trees. This apple tree is doing really well. This grapevine's got a lot of good bunches on it. And all the olive trees are starting to bud, so we're going to have a lot of harvests coming soon.
We actually picked up these from the UK around 8 months ago, and we actually never got around to doing this job because in the winter the weather was really bad and it kind of prevented us and held us back quite a bit. So it's kind of nice to be able to get these components fitted in and working, which will be really good. So like I say, we've got the 4-hob burner and we've got the sink, and I've also picked up couple of other plumbing parts, a couple of gas parts that we've got here to be fitted to as well. But I can't, to be honest with you, I can't even remember what we've got. So we're just going to start on these two to start, and then we'll see where we'll go from there.
It was important to check the gas hob size and double check again. When building things, there's always so much to take into consideration. We've made many mistakes in the past by missing the smallest details. We had a lot of timber spare from making the concrete base of the kitchen and decided to utilise that again. After measuring some more, it was time to get to work on building the countertop. With 1 beam, 2 beams and 3 beams laid out, it was time to fix it together. We decided to build the countertop in a few different sections. Then after measuring and cutting it, we're starting to look like something.
As you can see, what we're doing is we're building it in sections. So we've built this first section, built the second section, and now we're going to move on to the third section.
So we're going to add some beams to strengthen the frame and make it more sturdy. So I'm just measuring how far the distance is between these bits of wood, and then we can cut them and reinforce the frame. So we've completed the frame. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go get some plywood and then we're going to tile on top of it. After heading into the city to pick up some timber, it was time to say my goodbyes to Dan as I headed to the coast for a few days to meet up with my mum.
So I've dropped Laura now off at the bus station. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a tough 3 or 4 days without Laura. I don't think we've ever spent more than a day not together. Maybe not even that, to be honest. So it's going to be a tough one not being with her for 3 to 4 days. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use that time when she gets back to surprise her, hopefully, and get the outdoor kitchen completely finished, and whatever other jobs I can get done on the homestead as well. But definitely the outdoor kitchen. Be nice for when she gets back to surprise her with a finished outdoor kitchen. So I've got all my tools out ready. I've got the wood to finish the countertop in place. First step I need to do is I need to fix the frame that we pre-built before into the breeze blocks, and then I can attach the new wood I've got on top, and then we'll see where we'll go from there. Lots to do. So now the timber frame is fixed into the breeze blocks. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put this piece of wood on here. I'm going to take my circular cutter and cut this off, and just keep doing this for each one. So I've got the first one, cut the second one, now I just need to move on to the third one. So I've put 3 panels on so far. What I've done is I've marked out roughly, just briefly, very quickly, to know whereabouts where I can cut through to make the holes for the 4-hob gas burner and also for the sink. So I've just basically made a brief outlet saying where the panels are and also where the breeze blocks are. Nothing perfect, but it does the job. I've just got the last one to fit in now. So what I'm doing now is I'm just getting a feel for how it looks. I've got the 4 gas hob burner there, got the sink here, and just kind of getting a feel for how it looks and how it sits and how it looks on the countertop, and see what it's going to look like when I put them in. So next job now to do is just to cut the holes in the countertop, sink in the components and see if they fit okay, and then it'll be moving on to the tiling. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this done right now though, because the sun's starting to set really quickly. At the minute you've got to really, I'm trying to work when it's cool. You've got like 2-hour windows maybe every time it's cool, because most of the day it's just 40 degrees summer heat. So I'm trying to balance the jobs correctly at the right times. So the sun's starting to set, I'm going to get everything ready. If I don't get everything done now, I'll get all my tools ready so in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I can get cracking again. And the key about this part of the job, because I've done this a few times, is to measure and measure and measure again, because in the past I've built a countertop and I've drilled the hole too big or too small, and it causes problems. So learning from my mistakes. So I've just put the last finishing touches to the sink in the 4 gas hob burner. It's starting to get really dark on the land now, as you can see, so I'm going to call it a night. But I'm really chuffed with what I've done. I never thought I'd get this far tonight because the sun started setting quite quick tonight. But I'll show you what I've done. I've dropped them in now and it's looking really good. It's just ready to do a couple of more little finishing touches in the morning, and then start tiling in the morning as well. So I'll show you what I've done anyway. So you can see I've put the sink in. I'll still need to fit the flange and things, and also I fitted the 4 gas hob burner, so it's all looking good. So as you can see, it's already in. So I'm really chuffed with how it's coming out, but it's time now to hit the sack because I'm tired. It's been a long one today. Another beautiful day on the homestead. The sun is rising beautifully in the distance, and it's a little bit. I had a little bit of a lie-in this morning. Normally I get up around 6 AM in the morning because you've got to go out here because you've got to get going early in the morning before the heat really starts to set in. It's going to be another hot day today, but it's about 7:30 now, so I've had a little bit of a lie-in. I stayed up till about, I think it was about maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock last night, finishing them little touches off in the outdoor kitchen. And also as well, there's only 2 more sleeps now till Laura gets back, so I'm counting the days. It's not as good being on the homestead and not having anyone to have a laugh with and tell me dad jokes to anyway. So I'm looking forward to when Laura gets back and I can start having a laugh with her again and telling her some more of me new dad jokes that I found. So anyway, I'll show you what I've been up to with the outdoor kitchen, as last night was quite dark, and I'll show you how it's looking again this morning, and I'll tell you my plans of what I'm going to be doing next. So this is where I got up to last night. The sink is now dropped in, the 4 gas hob burner is now dropped in. Now what I'm going to do is I need to, obviously the next job is to fix the flange in, so I need to fix the water outlet in, and I also need to fix up the gas as well because there's a few of these that are off and that are still in the box, and then it's going to be onto the tiling and it should start really coming together. So what I'm going to do now is start to get cracking before the heat really starts to set in. I need to go and sort my tools out ready to get going for the tiling. I need to go back in the barn, set up my area where I've got in there, and time to get cracking. And just to quickly show you, the tile that we've gone for is this colour, so I think they'll look very good once we put them on. They're quite a large tile as well. I think it'll look much better for the countertop, and obviously it'll be easy to do because they're much larger, but there's lots to do anyway, so just wanted to show you what they look like. So I think it's always best when you're working with tiles is to get all the tiles, especially when you're working on a surface like this, you want to get all the tiles, you want to know exactly what you do and have all the tiles cut ready, so that when it comes to the job you can know before you even put it down that you're not going to make any mistakes, because you've already cut the tiles, pre-cut the tiles, you know exactly that's going to all fit in the shape, and you can just do it all in one quick lot and adhesive the whole thing and just go straight for it. It's going to get quite confusing, I think, so what I'm going to start doing is I've already marked up all these ones here that need to be cut. I've been marking them by going underneath them and marking them for where the spaces need to be. I want to also keep them all flush going across. It'd be easy if I just did them the other way, but it would look much better if I just keep the continuity of them all the way up. So what I'm going to do is now I've done all these, I'm going to go one by one, take them out and start taking them into the barn and cutting them so that I don't get confused as I move further up. Yeah, so that didn't go as planned. I think the grinder's too much for them tiles. I was alright for the stone effect ones because they're a lot more tougher tile. But I think for them, I think I'm going to need an actual tile cutter that can slice down them. I haven't got one here, so I'm going to have to go on in the city, unfortunately, and buy one, so it knocks us back a bit of a day. But I'll just have to get back on with it this afternoon. Once it cools down, I'll have to head into the city in a bit. But it's a bit unfortunate, but just one of them things. I don't want to take the risk and cut any more tiles. The 2 tiles I have cut, I can still save them because I left a little bit of an overhang because I needed to. So luckily I did them ones first and started there, which gives us a little bit of overhang to play with. So I can, once I get the tile cutter, I can just cut them off. So I'm going to have to go into the city and try and find a tile cutter now. So a little bit of an update. So I've actually started to get a bit more progress with the grinder now. On the side parts where it needs to look flush, I still think I'm going to need to get a better tile cutter. However, the grinders seems to be working really efficiently for getting the intricate cuts, like around where the drop down vents are for the sink and also for the gas hob. So I'll show you how it's looking. So it's actually starting to look all right now, but I still, like I say, I still think I need to get a proper cutter for the sides. So I'm going to wait to cut the sides. So as you can see, it dropped it in now. It looks all right. Obviously these need leveled up a bit better. I'm just kind of showing. And obviously for here, I mean the cuts aren't the best, but once the drop down goes down top of them, you don't see the cuts, you know. But it just seems like the grinder's taking too much of the sides up, but it's starting to look a bit better anyway. So a little bit of an update so far. I've tiled up to where the 2 outlets are going to be, where the sink and where the gas is going to be. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get the rest of the tiles that I've got left, and I'm going to match them up to the segment that's left to do. And most importantly, make sure I've got enough tiles, because when I went into the city the other day, I had a quick look and I had none left. So fingers crossed that I've got enough. I feel like I've just got enough, but there's definitely not a lot of room for any excess and breakages. So we'll keep going and we'll get there. So thankfully, as you can see, I've got enough tiles left to do it and a few spare, which is good for breakages. But it's getting there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have to wait to get the better tile cutter, and I'm going to finish it off with a better tile cutter once I go into the city, and we should be good to go. So I ended up going into the city and I picked up a tile cutter. So now all I need to do now is finish off the tiles and cut them down, and then I can adhesive them down. Okay, so what I'm doing first is I've got all these different bits of offcuts here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up a massive batch of loads ready to put all along the edge and along here. And that's the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to do that first, so then this can have an overhang over the top so it looks much flusher and better. So what I've done so far is I've put all this edging around the side, ready for the top to be adhesive down on top of it. So what I need to do is clean this whole surface out of the way in 1, 2, 3, just like that. And now it's time to work through, like I said before, and adhesive these bad boys down. So it's another morning now. Last night I ended up running out of light. So this morning there's a few more little adjustments that I need to make with the grinder. And that's what I'm going to do. I've only got about 3 or 4 hours this morning before I have to go back into the city to pick Laura up. I'm really looking forward to picking her up now, and I'm looking forward to getting her back on the homestead so we can have a laugh and we can start crushing it and moving forward again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on with as much as I can and see if I can get it all finished. I think I'll probably be able to adhesive down the tiles, but I don't think I'll be able to grout them. But we'll see how far we can get. It's starting to look really good now. It's not far from being done. So far as you can see, I finished all the tiling up to here. And now I'm just going to move on to this section here and finish off the tiling here. As you can see, it's really starting to come together. It's really looking nice. There's still a few more a bit on the appliances to do, but now it's just time to move on to this. Like I said before, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to grout it in before Laura gets here, but it's still looking good. And then Laura can come back. She can grout in her thing that she did as well, because I think she'll probably be looking forward to doing that by herself. I was going to leave that for her anyway, because this bit which is done here, down here, I was going to leave that for her to do herself anyway, because that's her little project. Put the last piece in, as you can see. It's all looking good all the way across. I've now run out of time, so now I'm actually going to go and pick up Laura now. I'm just going to go and pick up Laura now. I'm really excited to see her, and I cannot wait to surprise her and show the outdoor kitchen and how it's looking. So Laura's back now. Welcome back to the vlog, Laura.
Good to be back.
Now it's just time to get back to our real home, and then we can continue smashing the jobs.
Putting us to work already, are you?
Now you've had your break. Welcome back to the homestead, Laura, officially.
Good to be back in the country. Where it's quiet.
Country living.
Yeah.
Country living.
Country roads. It's nice to be back on the land where it's quiet. I've been in the Algarve for a few days, see my mum who's on holiday there, so that was been a nice little break away. But now we're back to the graft on the land. And I'm loving what Dan's done with the tiles on the top. It's come out much better than I ever expected, and I love the colour of the tiles as well. Now the only thing that we've got left to do is the grout, and then it's going to be finished off nicely.
You're not going to guess again, Laura, what this requires?
What?
A thick, homogeneous paste.
Homogeneous.
Laura, how's the thick, homogeneous paste coming on?
It's very thick. I don't know if it's homogeneous, but it's thick. I don't even know what homogeneous means. With my little mosaic grouted in, it was time to move on to the tiles.
It's going to need quite a few more sponge washes, as you can see. What we're going to do now is we're going to let it all set in, and then once it's set in, we're going to keep washing it over this evening.
After a lot of wash downs, it was really starting to get there.
So now that we've washed off the majority of the excess on top of the tiles, there's still a few more jobs that we need to do, and what we're going to be doing is the gas outlet needs to now be dropped in. The sink needs to be plumbed in. We also want to finish off underneath here because there's a few gaps where the countertop hangs over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be plying under these edges. I need to also ply under here. And I'm also going to run a bead of silicone all around the edges as well, so none of them nasty little insects can get in and things like that. Wasps and rats and mice. So that we don't make another home. So I'm going to completely blockade it all in so nothing like that can happen.
So the countertop's finished. I'm super chuffed with how it's come out. It looks much better than I ever expected it would. So we've got the 4-burner hobbing. We still need to connect the gas bottle around the back, but we can do that later. Also got the sink in. Also in the future we're going to be putting a tap in and also a grey water setup and things like that. But for now the countertop's in and we're super happy with it. I love how my little mosaic looks at the bottom. It just makes us so happy looking at it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put some shelving in that we're going to put in so there can be a place for pots and pans and plates and other miscellaneous things. And this little part here is going to be a really nice section to cook our food on, prepare our food and yeah, serve up.
So for me, I'm really chuffed about the outdoor kitchen and how it's really come out. I just can't believe how solid it looks, you know, like using like a timber frame and just kind of using the breeze blocks and then adding the tiles to it and then adding everything else, all the other touches, it just kind of, and then adding the tiles for the countertop. I think Laura picked the tiles and I think it was a really good touch to use the bigger tiles and also the colour of the tiles. I think it just works so well in my opinion. I think I'm just chuffed with how well it's come out.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how much of an actual solid countertop it looks, because it was done quite cheap to be honest, and it looks really good, which you know I'm impressed with.
Yeah, definitely it is. It really hasn't cost a lot of money. Like I say, some of the parts as well that we bought for it, we actually bought them ages ago as well, so it feels like we haven't even had to pay for them, which is really good. But they went a lot of money because we picked them up from the UK, like the sink and the oven, the 4-hob burner. Like I say, there's still a few more little touches to do on it. You know, we've got obviously got to be plumbed in, we've got the gas and things like that. I want to fit a little tap. I'm undecided on how I'm going to do that, whether we're going to put an IBC and we're going to kind of irrigate the water off, ready for that system. But it doesn't matter. It's like that gives us the option. You know, it's in place now, so we can. So it's ready to nearly go, you know, and I think we're both saying like how beautiful this space is, like manifested. You know, we've got the over cover to stop the sun. We've got the patio floor. You know, we're looking forward to actually getting a table here and cooking some food and having a meal and having our family here.
Yeah, family and friends over and just having nights, like, obviously in the winter, maybe having a fire and looking out and watching the sunset. Oh, just feels so good.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have a space like this.
Yeah, it's going to be some memories made here.
Definitely. So we'll leave it there anyway. It's been another good week, I think, on the homestead. We've got a lot done, which is outdoor kitchen. And I think next week we're going to be moving on to the barn, which is exciting.
Exciting stuff.
Barn time.
Alright, catch you next one.
Bye.
Bye.